Coming up on show 875, Tesla's battery day could feature the mysterious nanowire technology. What on earth is it? We'll find out. Plus, how McLaren plans to go hybrid, ElectraMeccanica finally shipping the Solo EV, and why the Tesla Model 3 Frunk getting bigger could mean a heat pump is on the way, just like big cousin car Model Y. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for what happened on Tuesday, 25th of August. My name is Martin Lee, and I go through every EV story, so you don't have to. Big event happening right now. Pikes Peak is on. And there are 3 electric Teslas climbing Pikes Peak and a couple of Twitter accounts that I recommend that you follow if you're interested. One of them is the official account of Unplugged Tesla, Unplugged Performance, putting the cars together. Other one is my buddy Carl Connor, who runs Outer Spec Motoring, both putting up some pretty good tweets about Pikes Peak. Carl saying that he was watching some late-night finishing touches being put to the electric Performance Model 3 running up Pikes Peak first thing in the morning. And Unplugged Performance have been tweeting to say Randy Probst said that the Tesla is the best car he's ever driven in his 6 Pikes Peak races. They finished first place in qualifying and 26 seconds faster than the second fastest car. You can see some great videos, great interviews with Randy Probst as well. And so check out those links if you're interested in electric cars going very, very quickly up Pikes Peak. Another car brand that makes very quick cars is McLaren. And McLaren's revealed a brand new platform that will provide the basis for their new generation of electrified supercars. Now, it wasn't so long ago that when you said to McLaren about making electrified supercars, it was along the lines of, oh, no. Batteries aren't going to work. Fast forward a little bit. We have a new platform and there's batteries. I told you at the time, all supercar/hypercar makers have to embrace battery power because it's so much better than combustion power. You know it and I know it. Well, their new platform is essentially a new, lighter, carbon fiber-based platform with hybridized powertrains in mind. So not fully electric, but probably plug-in actually, and just varying amounts of batteries. But batteries are heavy for hypercars, but McLaren have a plan. They'll probably be using some turbo-powered engines that are downsized, which saves weight, but of course they have to add batteries. Now, according to Car Magazine, which I was reading, they say McLaren hasn't announced what the hybrid platform will make its debut on, but we do know the team in Woking are working on their hybrid cars now. The spy photographers for Car Magazine snapped pictures of a hybrid 72S, a mule car, last year. Also exclusive pictures of the all-new Sports Series McLaren testing. Once again, had a hybrid badge on. You could see it with all the camouflage on the cars as well. And they were, for many years, Ferrari said, we'll never add batteries. And now look. So I know there was a change of management at Ferrari, but still, you got to add batteries to make these supercars go as quick as the all-electric supercars that are coming out. I'll pop a link in the show notes if you'd like to read more. So, ElectraMeccanica are next in the news today, and this headline says that they're ending an odd gestation period of the Solo EV. Better late than never is the headline. The perfect statement, they say, for what's going on with the Canadian sustainable mobility company ElectraMeccanica. After a long preparation to produce their single-seater, 3-wheeler. It's got 2 wheels at front and a single wheel at the back. So now you can picture it when I say 3-wheeler. The Solo EV. Now, according to Auto Evolution, the ElectraMeccanica Solo EV has a fully enclosed concept cockpit, like a car, but just on 3 wheels. And it's a single-seater as well. And the purpose-built all-electric 3-wheeled vehicle is for the modern urban environment, say the manufacturers, developed for a range of more than 100 miles, top speed of 80 miles an hour. Now, these are going to be popular in places like California. LA Magazine, I was reading today online, they have an interesting take on linking the Solo, which is obviously, as the name suggests, a single occupant vehicle, with the pandemic, the makers of the single-seat all-electric Solo EV, saying that actually they're doubling down on the message that driving alone is the ultimate social distancing. They're hoping that people will embrace an eco-friendly mode of transportation, both during and after the pandemic. It just so happens that it's a perfect vehicle for COVID, even though it wasn't designed for the purpose, says Paul Riviera. He's the CEO of ElectraMeccanica, and with a vehicle that drives like a car with doors that opens on both sides, air conditioning, backup cameras, roll bar, seat belts, 80 mile an hour speeds, like I say. I'm not sure I would, because it doesn't have to go through the same kind of strict crash safety testing as vehicles with four wheels. So I'm not sure I'd be hitting the freeway at 80 miles an hour, but there we go. I think it's, this whole linking it to the pandemic is, I don't know. What we need more is more sensible mobility in big cities. What we don't need is more people buying cars just to sit in them on their own. We do need better mass transit, and we need to do that in a post-COVID world somehow. So I think it's a little bit cheeky to be saying, oh, there's a pandemic, everyone buy their own car. Maybe the answer in some places is less car ownership and more cycling or walking. Well, like I say, other forms of mass transit. Well, I'll let you make your mind up about that, because it's not an easy... There's not one answer to that problem. But I'll pop a link to both of those stories in the show notes if you'd like to read more. Well, Tesla's Battery Day is amping up with nanowire technology. Lead story on the podcast today. And what on earth is nanowire technology? Let's try and explain it in about the 90 seconds that I give each story on this podcast, which is, in theory, I often waffle on a little bit longer. Well, Tesla have announced the upcoming Battery Day on the 22nd of September and the annual shareholders meeting. Speculation is now just off the charts on social media about what we're going to see on those days. Tesla chose a very interesting background image for the announcement. Now, if you want to go along to that, you have to be a Tesla shareholder. And not everybody gets to go because of social distancing, much fewer numbers. So they're holding a raffle. So if you are able to prove that you own a bit of the company, you can get into the raffle to get your tickets. So the invite, well, not the invite, but the image that was used for the announcement of this has a very interesting background. If you enlarge the background, enhance the contrast, run it through kind of Google Images kind of thing, you can see that it looks like it's hinting towards battery chemistry, nanowires, in other words, according to the website Tasmanian. Now there is new information that points to possible collaboration between Tesla and a company called Amprius Technologies. Amprius manufactures and distributes batteries, and their R&D, all of their research and development, is dedicated to the silicon nanowire anode. So they're very specifically focused on a nanowire anode. At the end of June, Tesla applied to redevelop two of their buildings at Cato Road and Page. Now, Cato Road is going to be used to host additional production and R&D supporting Project RoadRunner, which is what we're talking about, including a portion of cathode electrode manufacturing and the final process step in battery cell manufacturing. Now, where does this new company that I told you about, not new, but it's the first time you probably heard the word Amprius as a company. Well, they just moved their building, and they moved next door to Tesla. And I wonder why they did that. Well, there's more than just a Twitter conspiracy theory going on here, according to Teslarati. Amprius notes that they are working on these silicon nanowires for the battery anodes. And what they do is dramatically improve the battery weight and the density. So two key things when it comes to batteries that, along with cost and efficiency, battery weight is a really big thing, and energy density as well. Now, the company's website notes that silicon generally has about 10 times the capacity of graphite, carbon, but it has a big drawback in the way that it swells when it's charged, causing the silicon to fracture. Now, to address this, Amprius uses silicon nanowires, which keeps the silicon from fracturing and breaking apart, even when it is swollen. I'll put links to these stories in the show notes. It could be 2 and 2 equals 5, but how interesting that a company that specializes in this particular technology, which Tesla used as an image on their announcement today, literally just moved their building onto Page, which is the road where Tesla are. And it's opposite their Cato Road building as well. Could just be a big conspiracy theory. It seems like there's something in this story. like I say, it's absolutely rife online right now. Looking forward to when we find out more details of Tesla becoming their very own cell manufacturer in their own rights. I've seen, by the way, before I move on, I've seen a few articles over the last few days, couple of weeks maybe, sometimes EV press, sometimes mainstream press, talking about Battery Day, talking about Tesla, talking about them becoming their own cell manufacturer, and talking about what it means for other car companies that want to buy those cells. And I've seen nobody put forward this point of view, which is my point of view. In a million years, Tesla will not sell this technology to anyone. No matter how much Elon goes on Twitter, like he did recently, and says, hey, we're open to working with loads of anybody else. Somebody asked him, oh, would Tesla supply cells to another company? Yeah, we always want to, like, that's the mission. We want to get everyone driving EVs. That's our mission statement. There is not a chance that anybody else is using this technology. Why would they? When Tesla are so restricted on battery technology at the moment. Like, they can't make a Roadster because they haven't got enough batteries. They can't make the Semi because they haven't got enough batteries. They can't bring the Cybertruck forward because they haven't got enough batteries. Every single cell they can make will be used in their cars and in their storage. And in fact, that the more established technology chemistries will more likely be used in things like the home battery storage, and then and actually some of the more stable chemistries as well, like the lithium ion phosphate batteries that are being used in the Standard Range Plus Model 3 in China through CATL. But the cutting edge technology, that's where you'll see it in the vehicles that Tesla needs to get that either performance or other benefits from. There is no way they're going to sell them to another company, because then that next car company, pick any one, then has to then add their markup and sell it on to the final consumer. It doesn't make any sense at all. I've seen nobody saying, look, that's ridiculous. Well, hey, could just be me. Many things are. All right, let's move on. One of the critical differences between the Model Y and the Model 3 is the Model Y is the first car from Tesla to have a heat pump. And that's because, although, again, if you're being lazy, I've seen these articles written that basically the Model Y is a slightly bigger Model 3, shares 75% of its parts. Nonsense, because the whole front end of the Model Y is different for a start to the Model 3. It might look the same, but internally totally different. And so we think that's changing with the Model 3, making room for the heat pump, which is in the Model Y, and the whole valve that controls all of the heating and cooling. What's it called? Octo pump or Octo valve, somebody named it. Anyway, the Model 3 doesn't have it at the moment. And according to Jalopnik, a new Model 3 has been delivered to a customer in Canada. And the front trunk, the Frunk, is redesigned. According to the Drive Tesla Canada forums via Roadshow, they've now been speculating that this could mean, because it's been brought forward and made extra room behind it. Nothing behind this one, but that's just making room for when they put the heat pump into the Model 3. More energy from the battery can then go to range rather than heating up the battery and heating up the car. While the effect on the car's performance is pretty negligible, to be honest with, that's not what heat pumps are doing. The true benefit of a heat pump on an EV is most evident when the temperatures are cooler and you're not spending energy heating up the battery and the cabin as well. All right, let's talk ID3. The Volkswagen ID3 has set its new range record. The electric car covered 531 kilometres. That's 329 miles. And it wasn't even with the biggest battery car either. It went from its factory at Zwickau to Schaffhausen in Switzerland on one single charge. Officially, the model has a range of 420 k's, but this did 531. That's more than 100 kilometres extra, a 26% increase on what the WLTP range is. The vehicle was a road-ready, production-ready, series production ID3 first edition, but it's got the middle battery, the 58 kilowatt-hour battery. The route they drove from Switzerland was entirely on public roads and highways. They passed through normal cities. They drove it normally. The person they got to drive it, though, was a chap called Felix, who is a well-known hypermiler. Native of Switzerland, hypermiling is where people drive cars very conservatively. So they don't do crazy fast speeds. They'll often drive it a certain way, either tucking in behind vehicles to get extra range out of cars. And so I don't know how slow this journey was. It doesn't say how quickly he did it, but I mean, hopefully he didn't just do the whole thing driving at 20 miles an hour, but still very, very cool. Thank you for Volkswagen for popping that on their press site today. I'll pop a link in the show notes to their press office if you would like to see what they released today. Well, Jeep's plan to electrify their lineup by 2022 is well underway. In July, the brand revealed the Renegade and Compass. On the paper, their cars are called 4XEs, but actually, if you think about, normally it'd be 4X4, we would say it out loud 4x4. So I think I have to say out loud 4xe. Which is terrible, truly terrible. So can I call it 4XE, which just sounds cool, right? So the Renegade and Compass 4XE plug-in hybrids are coming. Soon they're going to be joined by the Wrangler 4XE. We heard about Jeep's electrified boxy off-roader back in January. Now we get more information because today they revealed the Wrangler 4XE. I'll reluctantly call it the 4xe. Stupid. Is out in December. According to Motor1.com, Jeep uses a turbocharged 1.3-litre, 4-litre, 4-cylinder engine to power their other plug-in hybrids, but rumours persist that in the Wrangler they'll be using a 3.6-litre V6 along with all the electric gubbins. I'll pop a link to Motor1 in the show notes if you want to read more. So, any excuse to stay in the pub just a little bit longer. Maybe you go for Sunday lunch and they ask, would you like to see the dessert menu? Well, you know, if my car was busy charging for free outside, I'd say go on. I'll see what you got. Brewery and pub company Greene King is installing charging points for EVs across all of their suitable pubs in the UK as the deadline approaches for the ban of petrol and diesel cars here, says the Independent newspaper. Well, the company has a portfolio of 2,700 managed and tenanted pubs that phase 1, though, is going to be 900 premises by the end of the year. The company has an agreement with Raw Charging and Drive Energy. I've heard of neither of those companies, and that's embarrassing because I presume they're UK companies, and that's where I am. And I'm pretty deep into EV world, and I've heard of neither, but I'll do my digging and my research and find out more about them. And they're the ones putting in the charging points. The first one was installed for customers earlier this month at the Churchill pub in Royal Wootton Bassett. My local one, my Greene King pub, not too far away, so I look forward to seeing what kind of charges they put in, if they're doing any discounting. Maybe it's free, maybe you'll have to pay, but hey, if you're inside the pub on a cold winter's day and the car is busy charging, I'll stay for just a half. Right, obviously I would have a designated driver, aka Mrs. Lee. I would never drink and drive. Ford has started construction on a new factory to build the upcoming electric F-150 pickup truck next to its current pickup factory in Dearborn, Michigan, says Electrek website. Ford sold about 1 million F-Series pickup trucks last year. Yeah, it's a bigger... Ford sold more F-Series pickup trucks than most other car companies sell all of their vehicles combined. It was about 42 billion in revenue. Well, Ford has a plan to bring an all-electric F-150 to market, but little is known about it. According to Bloomberg, Ford is going to temporarily shut its factory in Michigan next month to install machinery for the new F-150, which does go on sale next year, and construct a whole new facility adjacent to Dearborn to build their electric F-150. According to people familiar with the project, prototype production is going to start next year, on sale 2022. According to internal plans. I'll pop a link to the story in the show notes. And that's your show for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep your comments coming in on YouTube. We put the audio, no pictures, audio on YouTube, and I'd love to read your comments in there, or you can email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. There are 874 previous episodes of this podcast in your archive. The blog is evnewsdaily.com. That works. Or you can use ev.news. Both of those will divert to the same website. If you subscribe to the podcast, either you use an app on your phone, your tablet, Apple, Google, Spotify, hit the subscribe button, because then you get it first and free and automatically before anybody else. If you can leave a little review on Apple iTunes anytime, it really helps out. And you can do that by just going to ratings and reviews on your app. Or if you still use iTunes on your desktop, you can do it that way. Thank you very much for listening today. Thank you very much to our premium partners of the podcast, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, Avid Technology, Porsche of the Village in Cincinnati, Audi of Cincinnati East, Volvo Cars of Cincinnati East, NationalCarCharging.com. Get your hardware from them, and in Hawaii, AlohaCharge.com. And also, if you're looking for things to watch on YouTube, check out Derek's channel. Derek Riley runs the EV Review Ireland YouTube channel, but you haven't got to be in Ireland or Irish to watch it. Check it out, and some brilliant reviews of cars he does as well. I will catch you tomorrow. Oh, do remember, by the way, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.